Hey, Lady D, Miss Free. How's it going? Hey, Mike, how you doing? Zombie, how you doing? J Money, Tammy Flo. How's everybody this morning? Yes, I'm out in daylight. Amazing as that is, right, guys? Baby 7549. How you doing? Gray Dragon, how you doing? Uh, Dragon Mirror. Just had my hearing for the Parks and Rec. Hopefully I wrecked them in there. I don't know what's up with Herrick right now. That isn't on my mind at the moment. I'm not a vampire, no. I'm still a ghost, hard to see during the day. Get it? Yep. So I spent about an hour and a half in there at the hearing. By the way, they let me record it. So I have the whole thing on recording, so I can go over it after. I don't know that I'm going to post it, but I was able to record it in the building where they said no recording is allowed. No, I'm not kidding. Where it's on the front door where they say you can't record. And I asked the judge, the guy doing the hearing, can I record it? And he said yes. I recorded it. About 3/4 of the way through, he realized I was doing video, not just audio. And he objected to that. So I had to turn the camera facing down. Not that it really mattered. You know, the guy's just sitting there in front of you. It was more or less an informal hearing than anything else. So, but I did get to record it, everything on it. So if I happen to lose, if I didn't tear them up like, you know, I think I did, and I lose, I can appeal to judicial or whatever. No notification? Really? Wow. Wonder why. Should have gotten a notification. It's been more than 24 hours since my last live stream or upload, for that matter. Residence is set. Yeah. Well, I have case law in my favor. So this guy that is that did the hearing, he is a former judge for district court as well as some other court. So hopefully he sees the argument I have in the papers with United States versus Grace, with the sidewalks, and the fact that you know, the fact that Public Works says they own the public right-of-ways and have been invested with the power from the city and county of Denver, you know, to do the right-of-ways, as in, you know, they did all that. Yeah, he was the one who was at the other table. He was at the other table, guys. He was the only person that was against me. They didn't have a lawyer against me. It was just the ranger. So the ranger read off his stuff, and then I got into my stuff after I did a bunch of questions to him, like I was asking him if he had any law enforcement training and whatnot. The first question I asked him was, do you have an ID on you, sir? About the seventh question in, I asked him if I gave him any lawful orders, if he considered that asking if I had an ID on me was a lawful order. It's too bad there wasn't more people present. Because that's all he did was kept asking me if I had an ID on me. He never demanded an ID. Not until the... Now we should be back. Are we back now, guys? All right, we're back. Yeah, it's a bad spot right there. You guys know about that spot. Anyways, where was I on it? Oh, I was asking him about training on lawful orders. He claims to have training on lawful orders, but he don't. So, you know how it goes. So it was just me and the Lone Ranger there to begin with. Once I started getting into my stuff, 2 more Rangers showed up, probably to see the show. Probably because he was getting his ass kicked in there. He needed some moral support, maybe. I don't know what the deal was. But 2 more Rangers showed up and sat in the back. So hopefully I showed that the Public Works owns the public right-of-ways and not the Parks and Rec. He kept insisting that the definition of the parks included the sidewalks is in the DRMC, which is the Denver Revised Municipal Code, and it is not in the Denver Revised Municipal Code. It is not there. So hopefully I kicked his ass pretty bad, you know, with any luck. Can't do a cop watch here, as much fun as that would be. Can't stop on the highway. Try refresh again. Tell him refresh again. There is no ruling yet. It's gonna take between 7 and 14 days for a ruling. Actually, no, he didn't want me to play the video. Because of the time constraint for the hearings. He said he'll review the video when he's going over it for making his ruling. So with any luck, though, I kicked his ass in there, and it all gets dropped. If I get my ass kicked and I owe some money, well, that's a whole another matter, I guess. Something I'll have to take up after. Take it to the judicial courts with case law. No, I didn't show all the evidence. He has a copy of it, though. He's gonna watch it. So he'll watch the video and have an idea exactly what happened. Yeah, I was excited I got to record too. And then 3/4 of the way through, he's like, "You mean you're video recording this?" He's like, "Oh no, that won't do." I thought you meant audio recording. And I doubt that I'll post it. It's more for my use than posting it up. I get to review my own performance. What's the difference? You get to see them, I guess. But he did sound like a broken record in there. He kept saying that all he's trained in is a section for Parks and Recreation. I asked him about the Fifth Amendment. You know, your right to remain silent. He knew nothing about it, he said. So I asked him about the First Amendment. He says he knows nothing about it. All he knows is Parks and Rec rules and regulations. So he doesn't know if he's violating anybody's rights. He has no training in the law. He has no training in our Constitution. So all he knows, what he says he knows, is Parks and Recreation rules, and that's it. Rules and regulations. But he kept insisting that the definition was in the DRMC, and it was not in the DRMC. Nowhere in the DRMC, only in their parks and rules, regulations, and rules crap was the definition there. And they're insisting it, and then I'm like, nope, it's not there. So I'm like, well, can you show me? And he shows them, and it's like, it says right there, it's parks, rules and regulations, not the DRMC. He's like, well, it's got to be in the DRMC, and it's like, it's not in the DRMC. So we'll see how it goes in a week or two. We'll have a result from it. By the way, they objected to the shortened video. They wanted to submit the full video because they downloaded it and want that submitted as evidence. I can't read it. It's too bright out. I can't read what you're saying. Not all of it anyway. The direction I'm heading or something, it's got the light all funky. But for his testimony, he basically read his report off to the judge. He didn't add anything extra really, other than he wanted to submit to them the zoning maps. And I asked him what he knows about zoning. He doesn't know anything about zoning other than the fact that the park is zoned from one end to the other as a park. That's the only thing he knows. I asked him, so if I had a house at, say, like 12th and Washington, and you were standing out on the sidewalk, could I have you arrested for trespass? And he sounded like a broken record. He's like, I don't know. I only know the Parks and Rec rules and, stuff. I'm like, really? You don't know anything about, the public right-of-way? The fact that a house would be zoned for residential from the whole neighborhood and that a right-of-way goes through it. And that you can't have somebody arrested for it because they're on that public right-of-way. Here's something else of note. There's 2 bus stops along the edges of that park. One of those has a bus that runs during the time that they're closed, which means technically you could stand at that bus stop and get a ticket for a park curfew while you're waiting for the bus to show up. Isn't that nice? So basically he had nothing new that he wanted to add to the original stuff. And I knew he was going after zoning stuff. I don't know if I got enough of the zoning stuff in there or not, but you're talking about a judge that would know the difference on zoning stuff as compared to a park ranger. So we'll see about that. Maybe they'll cut off the failure to ID and say I'm guilty of curfew. I don't know what they're gonna do. I just hope that I prove that they don't have the authority. Yeah, they don't have the authority over it. So that's my update for you guys. But I'm going to review my video of it. Maybe I'll chop out little pieces of it. I don't know. Probably not, though. Even though it's a public record, it's not the same. So, any other questions, guys? Show us the vid after the rolling. I don't know. You want me to read off some of what I read to him in my final statements? See if I can find it real quick or not. It's in the Denver revised municipal code, guys. All right, I'll tell you what I told them near the end there. It said, filming law enforcement officers who are performing their duties is protected under the First Amendment. And when constitutionally protected activity takes place in a... oh, my throat's going. takes place in a traditional public forum, such as a public street, the government's power to restrict such activity is sharply limited. The public right-of-way from which I was cited is a traditional public forum. The area is freely accessible. It is virtually indistinguishable from public sidewalk because it is a public sidewalk and marked as a public right-of-way on the city maps. And it is within the category of property that is traditionally public and historically used for expressive activity. The government cannot close such a forum to restrict speech with which it disagrees. The fact that people are free to travel along the sidewalk is a testament to it being open for everyone's use, and that the park and recreation department wish to claim ownership of the public right-of-way to limit its use violates the public trust, as well as Denver ordinances and charter, which hands out the authority to departments to handle specific areas. The city gave authority to the Parks and Recs by putting this in Denver Revised Municipal Code under Section 2.4.4 of the city charter. The manager of the Department of Parks and Recreation has the power and authority to adopt rules and regulations for the management, blah, blah, blah. In other words, they're saying they got control over the parks, right? So it's here for the use and occupancy, management, control, operation, care, repairing, and maintenance of all structures and facilities thereon. So it's under Article 1 of Chapter 39 of the Revised Municipal Code set forth, blah, blah, blah. And I said, following that stuff, in no place does of the DRMC does it give the authority over the public right-of-ways. It did give authority to the Denver Public Works, now named Transportation and Infrastructure, under 2.3.3, powers and duties of the Department of Transportation, supervision and control of all streets, alleys, highways, thoroughfares, sewers, bridges, viaducts, tunnels, off-street parking, and other like structures wherever located, including the supervision of lighting and all facilities for the lighting thereof, blah, blah, blah. In other words, under the authority of the Denver City Charter, Article 2, the Denver Revised Municipal Code, Chapter 49, and by other city ordinances and regulations, the Department of Public Works manages the public right-of-way. I told them that their control of the city sidewalks, the public right-of-way, is null and void. I provided documentation, which came from their own websites, by the way, denver.org. Their own website says this stuff. So, with any luck, I'm going to prevail with that closing. What do you guys think? Was it a good closing? I spent hours working on that, by the way. I printed it all out so that my mind would not go blank when it came time for me to speak. So I put all my questions down on paper, and I put my statement down on paper, and everything like that. So I was able to keep my thoughts under control for not losing my train of thought like I do sometimes by reading it off. I think the one ranger sensed that he was losing though, and the other two rangers showed up because of it. But I have no idea, guys, really. No clue why they showed up after, or so late in it. Maybe they were there for the next hearing. I don't know. I didn't talk with him. I did raise the issue about him putting some stuff at the end of his report that he said he was in fear for his life. I wanted it on record, actually. And the reason I wanted it on record is because I wanted to prove that he lied during it, but he wouldn't let me do it. He wouldn't let me put that information in there. So, well, you guys probably heard the telephone calls that were made by Justin Emo Howling Wolf, right? I know a bunch of you guys did. The ranger stated in there that Justin Emo Howling Wolf threatened to hunt him down and shoot him. That's what the ranger stated in the report. And that was a little bit concerning when I got the paper from them stating this when they told me when the hearing date was, which, you know, was the 17th originally. So I'm like, what the hell did Justin Emo Howling Wolf have to say that this man was in fear for his life, right? So I got a hold of him, and I got to hear the recordings. And at no point did he ever threaten to hunt him down and shoot him. So the man lied in his report in multiple spots. And hopefully that the video will show part of that. I also included the telephone calls for the judge to listen to. I don't know if he'll listen to them or not. He might not. But it was definitely concerning until I heard the actual phone calls and heard no threats made to the man personally by Justin Emo Howling Wolf. Zero threats directly directed at him from him. You know what I mean? So we'll see what happens about that. Probably nothing. The ranger stated he turned them over to the Denver Police Department, by the way. But because he included them in his statement, I actually wanted them on the record. And they wouldn't do it because it said it wasn't pertinent. I'm like, well, then why is it on the report? If it isn't pertinent to my case, why is it on my report? He's like, oh, well, that's how I was taught to do it. So he was taught to put his BS on there. Because I also asked him if anybody coached him or asked him to put anything in particular in the report. He said no to that. That I don't believe. We're seeing this thing about I'm in fear for my life, type thing going on in a lot of these reports that they're making from the city of Denver, especially against Eric. But this one was, related to me on this case. So yeah, of course he lied. Anything pertinent to go on somebody else's report. He should have made a separate report because it was a separate incident. I should also questioned him on when he listened to those phone calls, because he supposedly made this report on the same day as the offense. So I forgot to ask him questions about that, unfortunately, but it wouldn't have mattered anyway, I guess. So in a moment here, I'll park and answer any more questions. Quit them if you have fear of the public. Yeah, well, some things were said, but nothing was a direct threat to the man. Dying Empire, he posted one earlier. Okay. I'm glad I turned the volume down on my phone too, on this one that I'm streaming from right now. Somebody called during the recording of that. Nobody ever calls that phone. Nobody has the number. So it's probably a BS number. A spam call. How you doing, SATV? From Calumet City, where? Illinois? Okay, how's it going? We're in Colorado here. So I'll get pulled over here in a minute and I can answer more questions. It probably is a spam robocall. I ain't even gonna listen to the voicemail from it. Probably one from the Social Security Administration or you know, one of them basically. All right, let's get over here. Let's go over here this time. I'll face away from the sun. All right, now I can answer any more questions. They're not there to fear us. They are there to protect and serve of us. Yeah. Protect and serve, yeah. You got one of those out of Texas? Yeah. I got one on my other phone. On my actual phone. Where, you know, I do take phone calls. It was funny. You know, they say this is your last final notice thing and blah blah blah. They don't protect and serve. They harass and kill. Yeah. Yeah. I wish I had Eric's help in preparing a little bit more on this. He might have won $1 million. Yeah, right. They're turning any question into their... Yeah. Let me see here. It'll show up as a missed call or something probably. Well, I hope I asked the right questions. I hope I made the right statements too. Especially about the part about the public works. So, even though part of it I mentioned that if somebody wanted to put something along the sidewalk of the park, they'd also have to have the permission of the park, not just the public works. But that's a combination thing, and that's the only thing it mentioned in there. Well, I hope I won, Lady D, Miss Free. Serve and protect, not harass and collect. Yeah, that's a fact. I'm hoping I won it. And then I'll be back out on the sidewalk out there flipping them off. If I won. Right? I probably wouldn't flip them off, actually. I'd record them, though. I forgot to bring up the fact that I've been out there recording with the police out there, and the police do nothing because they know it's a public right-of-way. They don't enforce the park curfew on the public right-of-way. I totally forgot about that, about mentioning that. Yeah. Yep, Brian, I'm good. Throat's a little bit going on me from all the talking I've been doing. They can't call me. So an hour and a half, almost an hour and a half in the hearing room. There is no actual boundaries of the park on the city map that say that they're boundaries. But I can save that for an appeal if I lose. Well, I hope I beat them with their own laws. Just the fact that their things, say one thing and the actual municipal code say another. Yeah, Brian, I hear you there. He argued that it was. Yeah, there's 2 bus stops there. Not just one, but 2. There's one at Colfax and Bannock. And I submitted that along with a bus schedule that shows that it stops there at 4:43 a.m. before the park even opens. So it's like, why is there a bus stop at the park that's open at, where is it? 4:43 a.m. West Colfax and Bannock. And I provided a schedule of the times that it, in that area, right? So I asked him if he had, ticketed anybody waiting for a bus, and he said he's never encountered anybody waiting for a bus. That's probably a lie. The fact that is public makes it public area. Well, of course, it's all a public area, but it's subject to their curfew rule in the park itself. He's contending that the public right-of-way is part of the park. And then there's also, United States versus Grace, which states about almost identical circumstances, you could say, except that they were handing out something or had a sign. I forgot which. People don't wait for buses. I don't know, Brian. I can go down there and wait for that bus. See if they give me another curfew ticket, right? How you doing, Sarah? So, no, it's not continued. It's going to be, he's going to have a ruling within 7 to 14 days. But I'll tell you, man, this guy sounded like a broken record over and over again about his parks and recreation rules and regulations. It was really pathetic on his part, let's put it that way, because he couldn't answer any other question. Yeah, Hank, that's a fact. Did you know that they have a curfew for teenagers, anybody under 18 as well, in Denver? About the same hours as the park curfew, 11 p.m. to 5 a.m. So a teenager cannot be out in public either, anywhere, without their parent or guardian. I had some arguments with that too, by the way, using that as an example, because by their definitions, that had to do with the residential zoning area and stuff. I wish I'd done more research on the zoning part, though. As in saying that, well, I did state that it does not define the boundaries. It only defines what the area can be used for. I hope I beat his ass badly. I wonder how many calls he got over that. And emails. I know Emo sent a email as well. If your car was parked there, would it be legal? There is no place to park there. There's absolutely no place to park around that park next to it. Hey, Genty, how you doing? Throw that number up and you'll call for public info. On which number? I'm doing great, Genty. Just got done with the hearing not that long. Well, it's a half hour ago or so now. The park's number? What is their number? Hang on. Their number. Find it in all this paperwork. Let's see here. Where is their number? I don't have their number handy. I do not have their number handy. No, well, somebody will have to find it. But they probably had enough phone calls over that for the time being. Anyway. What division? I don't know. We'll wait for the hearing to see what happens with it. Denver Parks and Rec. Alright, let's see here. What is their phone number? Their phone number is 720-913-1311. Is Parks and Rec. Not really much to say to them though at this point. Wait for them to come up with what happens with the hearing, is what I'd say. But they certainly think that they own it just because it's zoned for it. And that's not the case. You guys know how zoning works. Blue pills? Little blue pills? Yeah, Mike. Hey, Big Tim Hill News, how you doing? So anyway, that's the update for today. And all I can do is wait and see what they say. I should win, yes. I'm glad I didn't have to go against a lawyer, that it was just the ranger himself. There's a fake GNT. Oh yeah, you can. You can ban a fake one, yeah. That's impersonation on YouTube. That's against the terms of service, by the way. Don't ban yourself. I think it goes by the number, but I don't know. After the Occupy movement was kicked out of the parks, they all camped on the sidewalks. Yeah, of course they did. So Parks is trying to claim the sidewalks, and I'm trying to take them back. Directly with the sheriff. Political. Yeah, it's all political. You know, it's all about getting rid of the homeless down there. That's what the curfew's about. That's what them trying to keep them off the sidewalks is about. You just got 1K? Cool, Big Tim Hill News. Congrats. But I had the whole Denver revised municipal code printed out. And they had theirs mixed with their rules and regulations. So we'll see what happens. It's so far up in chat you can't get it. Oh well. That's the way it goes. Alright, guys. It's time for me to become a ghost again and disappear. $93 million budget for what? Morning, Lenny G. Yep, Lady Deem is free. All right, everybody have a good day, morning, evening, night, whatever it might be for you. And we will catch you later. Oh, 93 million for Parks and Rec. Okay. Yeah. And they certainly don't provide bathrooms still. You know that, right? They still have no restroom facilities in their parks. They won't put them in. I don't know, Phil. I haven't even slept. Unsuppressed? No, I've already been streaming for 52 minutes. Just have no more to report. And I'm tired. Fix his beater. Yeah. All right, guys. We'll catch you later. Have a good one.